It's the same horse barefoot with a wide toe and then with a 4mm grab over 3 different days. The video on the right was taken with camera B. The 2 videos on the left were taken with camera A. Like I said, we had 2 cameras set up, so we doubled our focal area so that if we happen to not hit one, we could hit it with the other. So that's what we're analyzing: the slide phase, the angle of the fetlock joint, the amount of toe drop, and also we needed those reflectors because we lose the foot in any kind of penetrating surface. So the first horse, this is barefoot. I'll just going to go through one horse just to kind of show you what we did. There's a barefoot horse one day. We measured his slide phase. The reflectors were helpful so we could get a really accurate measurement. He slid this particular day barefoot 5 inches. Keep in mind we had 6 other horses that we also measured. We had a good program, a tracker program that helped us get fairly accurate. We were able to really blow up the video, get close measurements, and put our tracker software on there to make sure we were having accurate measurements. So these were the fetlock angles at the end of the slide phase and at the end of mid stance. We've got a measure of, this is a measure of toe drop, or the amount of the toe drop. The reflective frame there helped us to capture that. So we were able to measure that at 4.7 degrees. I just took a cadaver leg and put it at 5 degrees, increase it. And with my pins, remember the pins started out horizontal, and now the pins changed as they move, and we were able to calculate that we had about a 9% increase in tendon tension of the superficial flexor tendon when we do that. Here's the same horse with a 4mm grab. Basically, it's a pretty conventional foot, pretty conventional shoe. Slide phase measured down to 4.25 inches, and it's a significantly less. It's the same horse, same track, same conditions, pretty much the same temperature, same time of day. So we tried to make most of those variables as consistent as possible. Wanted to just make sure to point out we got a little bit of premature subluxation there in this at that point. The fetlock angles at the end of the slide phase and at mid stance were 122 and 107, and the ones that were on the 4mm shoes, compared to the barefoot angles, were in the previous slides were 122 and 110. Looking at the degree of toe drop with the 4mm shoe, we had 7.6 degrees of toe drop, which correlated to about a 13% increase in superficial flexor tendon tension. The wide-toed race plate measured it as well. These are its measurements. The slide phase, we had 7.6 inches, so we were able to increase the slide phase. That wasn't surprising because we've done that before in other synthetic tracks with the wide-toed shoe like this. Really important, we were able to improve the fetlock angles, although the fetlock angle at the end of mid stance wasn't a whole bunch improved on over 7 horses. This particular horse was pretty good. But the mid-stance angle, right when the cannon bone was straight up and down, was 123. Again, comparing it to 122 and 108 respectively. Okay, so that's the degree of toe drop. We only had 3 degrees of toe drop, so we didn't have didn't have much significant increase in the tensile load of that compared to the other. Compared to a toe grab. So here's the analysis of the video measurements. We can see that at the fetlock angle, keep in mind that we're measuring the inside angle. So these angles are comprised of about 360 degrees, right? And the center of it is in the head center. So the outside is 1 degree, and the inside is 1 degree. So we're measuring the inside joint angle, which we generally do in biomechanics. And so a greater angle is closer to 90 degrees. That's an extreme angle. That's where we're getting a lot of load on the structures. A more open angle, or when the numbers are higher, means that we have less load on the structures, on those two structures, the superficial flexor tendon, again, and the suspensory ligament. You can see that the fetlock angle for the wide-toed shoe came up to be, you can see the numbers over here. The graph is a pretty good graph. The wide-toe shoe had a pretty significant degree of less angulation. And when we look down here, it was 4.5 degrees more positive, and compared to barefoot that we use as our baseline. So we saw that a toe grab shoe had a negative 1.38%, and a wide toe shoe ended up having a positive almost 4.5%, and this is it in graph form. So the blue is the wide toe shoe, the red is the fetlock, is the toe grab shoe, and the green is the barefoot. This is the fetlock angle in mid stance. Again, the wide-toed shoe showed over the course of the 7 horses. Now this is an average of all 7 horses. Showed a big difference in that angle as well. So we had a kinder angle, a more open angle there, and the angle that was most detrimental to the structures of the suspensory apparatus were again the wide toe, or the toe grab shoe. The change in hoof angle. The 4 millimeter toe showed the greatest change in hoof angle. You can see here, and we had about a 53% change in that compared to the wide toe. Right, so it's 53% positive, and the wide toe had a negative 37%. So it's a pretty huge difference between those two shoes in the hoof angle. And it's not surprising to me. It was pretty well expected, because we filmed these guys, so much and looked at this, and so I had a pretty good idea. The slide phase. This is the last slide on the analysis. The slide phase was definitely improved by 14% versus a negative 7% on the wide-toed shoe versus the toe grab shoe relative to the baseline of the barefoot. And so you can see it in graph form. So I think we're pretty good on time. I'd like to introduce